Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you some of the basics of cell referencing in Excel. I'm going to show you how to reference a single cell, how to reference a range of cells, referencing a column, a row, and so forth. I'm going to also show you how to reference values in another spreadsheet. So let's start with the basics. I think that the best way of displaying this is to open a new function, and this will show us in an easy way which cell or range we are referencing as we go. So let's say that I want to reference this cell right here in the top left. This will be the cell A1, and if we want to reference this, we can do an equal, we can click on it, and it will automatically reference that cell, and it will show us the reference pattern for that specific cell. Same thing applies for any other cell that we choose right now. So if I want to reference A3, I click on it and I have in the formula this is A3. Same for other cells such as B3, C3, D3, and so forth. So the basic way of referencing one cell in one of our functions or formula is just doing the column name or the letter and then the row. That's simple enough. So now let's say that we want to do a range of values. Let's say that I want to select from A3 to, let's say, A12. So I can select all of these numbers here. One way of doing so is to automatically select, and the formula will do that for us. But here we can see the pattern for that range. We have to grab A3 and A12 separated by a colon. This is basically what we will have to do, is to select the first value, the last value, and the formula will take everything between those two values that we provide. Same applies for ranges across rows. So if we want to select these three values from B3 to D3, we can select all of those, and they are separated by a colon. So if we wanted, let's say, to select the whole table here from A2 to D12, that's exactly what we do. We would have to enter A2 colon D12. So basically the two values that we have to enter, it's the first and last, starting with the top left and ending with the bottom right. And there we have our table that's being referenced. References are going to be very useful when you start using functions. So the basics are very important to master. Now let's say that we want to reference an entire column or row. We can also do that. Let's say here in column G that I want to reference column B and copy all of the values that are in column B. We can do that. Here we can see the pattern of that reference. B column B. If we do enter, we should have all of the values that are in column B. And here you will see that we have some zeros at the beginning and end, and that's basically because we're referencing all of the values in this column, but we don't have any values here, which is being displayed by as a zero in the reference. Same for row. We want to reference row 3. We can do that here. And based on what we learned, we would do 3 colon 3. And there we go. And this is referencing the entire row. That's why we have the zeros here. So what we have learned, we could make some references without having to click on them. We can do them just by typing the column and row. So let's say now that I want to reference Honda Accord and Honda Civic, and I want their prices and I want their units sold. So we know that for me to do that, I will have to select everything from B4 to, let's say, D5, and we can enter that manually. B4 to D5. See, there it is selected. Easy enough. So if I wanted to select, let's say, a list of all of the car models, starting with Ford and ending with Honda, we can also do that here. And that would be B3 to B12. So we do B3 colon B12. There we go. So see, we don't need to rely on us being able to click on the range that we want. Yeah, so that's very easy to do, especially when we are in the same spreadsheet. However, we can also reference values from other spreadsheets, and that would be as follows. Let's go to this new spreadsheet. I can enter a function, and let's say I want to reference B2. I can click on B2, I can do enter, and here we can see how the pattern for that reference looks like. We have the name of the sheet followed by column and row. So the name for the sheet that we're referencing is sheet 1, and we're also referencing the cell that's in B2. Let's say now that I want to reference the whole table. I want to copy the values of that whole table in my other sheet. I can do that by entering function, going to the previous sheet, and select everything contained in there. So the basics remain the same. The only thing that we're adding here is the name of the sheet that we're referencing, followed by an exclamation mark. So the reference is basically the same, just we're adding the name of the sheet that we're referencing. So lastly, let's say that I want to reference the first 5 cars, right? So we already know that this would be B3 to B7, and I want to do this manually. So if I want to go to a new function, I can do, we already know that I need to use the name of the sheet. So it's sheet 1 followed by exclamation mark, and then I can do B3 to B7 if I recall properly. And there we go. So now we don't need to be relying on that, and we know how references work in Excel. Hey guys, this is Chris. I'm editing the video right now, and my intention when I was recording the video was to add an additional video that would explain the absolute and the relative references in Excel. But what I ended up doing was I created a whole separate video, and I'm gonna be leaving a link in this video that will take you to that. Like you see in the screen, we cover some of the absolute references where we use the $sign to lock cells and reference other cells, as well as relative references. So it's a very valuable information as well. I would definitely check that out. But I'm gonna leave the link to that video in the description and also in the screen. So I hope that this video was useful, and thank you for watching.